for San Antonio starts right now.
It's bad. I've never seen anything like it. It reminds me of the movie Twister.
It was terrible. It was bad. I knew right away it had to have been a tornado.
It's a shock. It's devastating. You never think something like this is going to happen in your neighborhood.
We had roofs torn off. We had broken windows, damaged vehicles, twisted power lines, trees torn off. And today the National Weather Service did confirm it wasn't just one tornado. It was 4 tornadoes that touched down in San Antonio, destroying people's property, rattling a lot of people's nerves overnight, including mine. Good news is, as far as we know, no injuries or deaths reported from this. We had 2 EF1 tornadoes touch down, one near Almost Basin, the other on Putting Green, that's on the northeast side near Northern Hills Golf Club. We had an EF0 tornado that touched down between Windcrest and Converse, another EF0 in Garden Ridge, and that's the least amount of winds to qualify as a tornado. Now, the damage was mostly on the northeast side, cut a path through that way. The damage estimates quickly climbing into the millions, and today people affected by the storm cleaning up, assessing the damage, and trying to get back at it. And it is because there was so much damage that we are now broadcasting here for you live in the northern part of San Antonio. I'm off Linda Lane here. This is Sean's house, just one of the people up and down this street. In fact, a whole several miles of path. Sean heard it last night. Are you doing all right, Sean? All right, he's got some friends here. He's missing work, but it tore not only the back porch roof off, but part of the dining room, garage, living room, roof off of it. And this is some of the damage outside. And we're seeing a lot of this all over this area. You got trees down, you got things from other people's yards. And then even around here on the other side, we're going to go 360 for you. That is a shed, and there's a lot of that in the backyard like this as well. Now, our Delane Matthew had a different viewpoint from this. She's been up in Sky News 4 all day assessing the damage. And Delane, I can only imagine what it looks like up there.
Well, Randy, the perspective from way up here is such a different vantage point. I mean, it really is impressive when you see the damage all the way from Northern Hills Golf Club all the way up to Higgins Road. You could just see where the tornado carved a path of destruction all the way to the northeast. Take a look.
From Sky 4, the damage is extensive. Home after home, backing up to the Northern Hills Golf Course, hit by the EF1 tornado. Rooftops blown away. Porches blown away. Debris littering the yards of one home after the other. Roofing crews on top of this home trying to figure out how in the world to get this huge tree limb off the rooftop. On the golf course, all the trees hit by the tornado point in the same direction of the path, northeast, towards Higgins Road, where the tornado lifted, missing neighborhoods and dozens of homes before touching down again in this cul-de-sac, shredding the rooftops of several more homes. And just feet away from Northern Hills Elementary, 2 huge power towers, several hundred feet tall, one of them flattened, the other bent like it were aluminum. Crews on the scene working to restore power to the thousands who woke up this morning without it and wondering what in the world had hit their neighborhood in the middle of the night.
Well, now, of course, we know what it was. It was an EF1 tornado, one of 4 that touched down. Coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, I'm going to show you what investigators look for when they are assessing a tornado and how big it was. Because in this particular area of town, you literally can see the pathway of that tornado just from looking at the trees. That and more headed your way at 6. Randy?
All right, Delane, again, back down here on the ground. We were really at the beginning of where this damage started, just east of McCullough, and it tore a path several miles down from here across the quarry and down up to Loop 410. That's just the first part of it. That's the path where the fire department believes one of the F1 tornado or EF1 tornadoes touched down. Through Linda Drive across from the quarry. That left a whole trail. And News 4 San Antonio's Amanda Weber joins us live now with a look at the worst of it. Amanda?
Well, Randy, it's pretty incredible the work residents have put in today and what they've cleaned up, but there's still a lot of destruction here. You can see part of a roof still over here. That's from this house here. One part went left, one part went right, completely flew off of that house. Residents here say last night's storm brought something they have never seen before.
It's a huge growl. It's just this, there was massive hail, heavy, heavy rain, and then this amazing noise. And then I think the next thing I heard was my tree coming down on top of my car.
It was Kate Ridson and her cat inside her home last night. As soon as she heard the heavy winds and rains, she went to her laundry room to take cover. She says within seconds the storm had passed and left this.
I checked the radar before I went to bed, and there was just this one line of red, which we see all the time, and no one expected it.
A few houses down, Mick Gamboa also waking up to quite a sight.
I might keep it.
That metal's from a roof 2 houses down. Yes, someone else's roof on top of his roof.
We have planes coming over our house all the time, so the noise didn't bother me. But when I felt the pressure on my head, I knew something was wrong, and so I ran to my wife, and by the time I did that, it was over.
Many living along Sharon saying in their 10 to 20 years here, they've never seen a storm with a destructive mission like this one. People from across the city showed today to help in any way they could. Gamboa says these helping hands confirmed everything is going to be okay.
Look at all the love here. I'm happy. We're okay. We'll get through this.
And some residents already having crews out here getting some work done on these roofs, but many tell me they just have to wait for insurance providers to come out and give them assessments. All in all, residents out here are just extremely thankful that no one was seriously injured last night. Live from the north side, Amanda Weber, News 4 San Antonio.
All right, thanks, Amanda. And again, we are back out live here. We are east of where Amanda was. She was several miles to the east of us. And then on farther east, you had the Oak Park neighborhood near Alamo Heights. And that is where Emily Bauckham joins us live now with a look at the damage there and how people are dealing with it. Emily?
Storm tore east. It toppled so many trees, and you have to get them out of the way before you can tackle the really big stuff. In this yard, power lines are dangling. At other homes, the roofs are torn off. From the roar of a chainsaw to old-fashioned elbow grease, Will Russell has no choice but to put on his gloves and get to work.
We looked out the window and all of a sudden everything was starting to blow.
His family hunkered down in a closet with no idea the wind was peeling off the roof over his head.
When we got out, we realized that there was water coming in to the whole front side of the house.
His home, one of hundreds across Oak Park, the city estimates took a beating.
This has really been some devastating damage.
Councilman Mike Gallagher is here, assuring homeowners debris will be hauled off as fast as crews can pick it up.
We've actually got all of our city employees that do this sort of work out right now doing it, including those having to work overtime to try to resolve some of these issues.
For Russell,
we're just trying to clear out some trees out of the back.
It's a double whammy. He just finished cleaning up from last year's big hailstorm.
It's bad. It's been it's going to be a tough road. I know how people feel now that are in big storms or hurricanes, floods, and things like that.
Storms like this truly do give you perspective. Here's something else that gives you perspective. Homeowners in this area tell us what's really slowing them down: rubberneckers, people who drive past taking pictures of damage. But for the people who live around here, this is more than damage, it's heartache. So please, if you can, avoid this area and please let the crews do their jobs. Reporting live on the north side, Emily Bauckham, News 4 San Antonio.
Emily, this is one where I can tell you that is a problem. We had tornado tourists literally on my street because my next door neighbor had part of her roof lifted off just like this. Now, we've been showing you this trail of destruction that went east from here. We showed you Amanda, we showed you Emily, and farther on northeast, went up into Selma and Live Oak. And we want to show you what it was like at Retama Park. North of Olympia Parkway, right off I-35, if you've been up in that area. News 4 San Antonio's Ashley King is live there with a look at the damage. Ashley?
Well, guys, we're still trying to figure out exactly what type of system blew through here, but one thing that is for sure is the amount of damage. I want you to take a look down here. All of these black pieces you see here, this is part of the underlying part of the roof. It came off of that building up there. It was also a metal roofing piece that flew off of that building, causing a lot of damage. We know 5 people are without apartments tonight, and just up the highway up I-35, there's also been more damage from this powerful storm. Members of the River City Community Church woke up this morning and found this: 2 buildings damaged. This church campus is on the grounds where the old Verizon amphitheater used to be. The wind so strong it caused the roof of a cabana to topple over, and the roof of the church's workshop also looks like it's been spun around in a washing machine.
It took the roof, it's corrugated steel roof, and just opened it up like a can opener. It literally looked like Godzilla himself was coming in and trying to take a peek to see who was down there.
The River City Community Church says they've received calls from the community offering their help to clean up the campus. And as for the people who live in these apartments here in Live Oak, much of that cleanup has already started. We will hear from some of those people coming up tonight at 6. Reporting live, Ashley King, News 4, San Antonio.
All right, thanks, Ashley. One of the most powerful images of the storm and the damage is a power tower that is near Thousand Oaks at and Higgins out there on the northeast side. Strong winds literally bent that power tower in half. And News 4's Zach Hedrick is live there on the northeast side with a look at all the damage where they are still trying to get power restored. Zach?
Yeah, Randy, crews are still working on the transmission towers right now. You can see them right there. It's been an ongoing process since early this morning. They've put poles in here to get the power lines away from the houses. So that's been going on right now. It's still undetermined what they're going to do with that tower back there. And there's another tower beyond that one. That one's by Northern Hills Elementary. I'm told CPS says there's about 200 customers without power still. They hope to have 90 of them back online tonight. The foreman tells me all of the crews out here believe the towers were knocked down around 3 or 4 this morning. No injuries are being reported from these towers falling over. I spoke with several people in the area who live nearby these towers, all of them just in complete astonishment of the damage left behind.
Power tower down? That's in Northern Hills Elementary schoolyard right there.
The CPS towers are toppled on where they're normally running. They do what's called a Bronco mile, where they run a mile.
Well, we heard the warnings go off. And we went to the back porch, and she said it sounded like a jet plane was coming down in the backyard.
Northeast ISD officials say a few staff members were inside the elementary school, but nobody was hurt. All the students were off on holiday today. CPS says it will take some time again before those towers are completely restored. They hope to have 90 more customers from those 200 who are still without power back online between 7 and 9 tonight. And CPS has been in contact with all the customers affected. And they want to remind everybody, if you do have down power lines in your yard or around your home, to be mindful of them and to stay away until utility crews come up, because while the power might still be out, there still could be electrical current running through those lines. Reporting live on the northeast side, Zach Hedrick, News 4, San Antonio.
All right, thanks, Zach. And this is power line just like that one is down. And we're about 8 to 10 miles away from where he is, so that is the path of destruction. Coming up, spotting bad contractors. These guys are friends of Sean up there who owns the house, but sometimes people are going to come through and try to rip you off. We'll tell you how to watch out for that coming up. Back to our live coverage of all the tornado damage here in San Antonio. Now, these guys, again, are friends of the homeowner and the homeowner up there, so they're legit. We checked them out. But unfortunately, it happens when any storm damage hits here. We saw it some with the hail damage last year. Opportunistic roofers, remodelers, they come to your house, they try to rip you off. And News 4 troubleshooter Jay Avila now with how to protect yourself from becoming a victim.
First, the red flags to look for, according to the Better Business Bureau. Be cautious of anyone going door to door soliciting work in unmarked trucks. Don't give in to high-pressure sales tactics, and beware of anyone asking for payment up front. Here's what you need to do before authorizing any work. Research the company on the internet. That includes checking the BBB website. Compare several quotes. Ask for references and try to talk to those previous customers. When you choose a contractor, get everything in writing, including when they'll start and when they'll finish. Make sure all work is explained in the contract, including cleanup, along with details about how payment will be handled. Finally, and we can't stress this enough, make sure that contract has the name of the contractor on it, along with a physical address and phone number. We hear from a lot of victims who pay money up front, the contractor never finishes the work, and the homeowners have no way to contact them. I'm News 4 troubleshooter Jay Avila.
And World Car Sky 4 now over some of the damage left by those 4 tornadoes ripping through San Antonio overnight. 2 of them, again, EF1s, the other 2 EF0s. So, Albert, can you tell us really what the difference is between those?
Absolutely, Randy. It is really speed as well as anything else. An F0, 65 to 85 mile an hour wind, so that makes it a fairly substantial storm. And then an F1 would take you to 86 to 110 miles an hour, and that's why you see substantial damage with that storm. We'll be back with a 7-day forecast in just a moment.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the tornado damage in San Antonio. Don't mean to make a joke of this, but this is a world torn upside down, and in many ways that is happening for a lot of people. We know that you out there have taken a lot of pictures of this, so if you have any pictures, you can share them with all the rest of us here in San Antonio and across the web. Text those photos to 45203, and you'll be able to see them at news4sanantonio.com. And again, Albert, this is just literally tearing people's lives apart, but the good news is nobody was injured or killed as far as we know.
San Antonio's most accurate forecast. 4-zone weather.
Randy, we were very lucky considering we had 4 different tornadoes hit Bexar County. 74 right now, winds are south at 8. Lots of sunshine. That is very typical around here after a big storm comes through the area. Lots of sun tomorrow. Kind of cool in the morning, a little warmer in the afternoon. The pollen count is still kind of sitting at least in the medium range. Let's look at it. Moles, ash, and elm, the 2 are medium. The elm is light. Well, a quick review. These storms started out west, and they traveled kind of east-northeast. Watch this big block of storms as it hit San Antonio. It started to diminish right about Hondo in Medina County and then really picked up. So what I was looking for was some of the tornadic shear tracks. So let me put it in, and you can see right there, that is exactly where they came through from Castle Hills, crossing 281, back over to the northeast in Garden Ridge, and then finally back out towards New Braunfels. So that was the path, started here, ended there. Didn't take it very long, actually, at the speed it was going. Future Tracker says nothing but sunshine Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's going to give our folks a lot of time to begin to kind of clear out and clean up some of the damage. 45 to 82 with a good, strong, cool north wind across the western zone, so they'll be in good shape. Same thing up in the hill country, 45, 75. That's a 30-degree jump because of that cool, dry air, and it's relatively light. So we get radiational cooling, and we cool down quick, and then we warm up quick. Eastern zone, again, a north wind is going to give everybody the opportunity to enjoy a couple of really nice days. 50 to 78 right here in the central zones with that north wind continuing to dominate. 7-day forecast, look at this, 78, 85, way above the normal. We don't even see any more rain until Sunday, and it's going to be a small amount of rain. 7-day forecast for everybody else is calling for a nice stretch of sunshine. Because of that, temperatures are going to be at least 15 degrees above normal with very little in the chance of rain, and most of it is 20% or less. So we've got to keep an eye on things across the region right now. Things are nice and quiet, and we're not looking for any more severe weather, fortunately, for the next several days. So the aquifer went up 1/2 foot. Keep in mind, it's probably going to continue to go up. The NCRJMC Storm Tracker puts us now at 16.1 feet above the normal. So we're going to watch that rise, the pollen count rise. But thank goodness, as Randy said, no one was hurt. We'll be back with more news in just a moment.
Welcome back to our live coverage of all the tornado damage here in San Antonio. And again, a part of the area hit hardest is the northeast part of town, literally miles from here. And that is where Mike Hernandez is live in the Camelot 2 subdivision with a look at the damage there. Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Randy. Look, if you look around right here, there's damage spewing all over the place as far as down trees and some of the windows that are blown out. If you look at some of the roofs, there's also some damage there. Now, this is just one of the streets. This is Oldham, but a lot of the streets in this neighborhood are about the same shape. I talked to Paul Ura, the warnings coordinator, earlier. He was one of the gentlemen that came down from the Weather Service to actually do the assessment on whether this is a tornado or it was some sort of a microburst or straight line. And I asked him, how do you determine the difference as to whether it was a tornado or whether it was something like a microburst. He said this, he says one of the easiest ways is that tornadoes tend to go in a path. They tend to leave a swath, whereas something like a microburst is not. Something that's going to bring straight line winds down from the storm and kind of spread them out. That's one of the ways they do it. He says the other thing they do, and that's most importantly, is they actually go back and check with the radar and look for radar signatures on the Doppler that match where the damage is in areas like this. Now, no matter what the assessment is, to people that were actually in it, they don't care whether it was a microburst or a tornado. All they know is they were scared.
It was a tornado. I heard it. It was like the wind. Yeah, it was like a good strong wind, and it was over the house. We heard it. It was like
whoosh. That's a great way of describing it. I'm glad she came out of it okay. You look at some of the other damage behind me right here. Again, this is repeated all through this neighborhood, and it's going to take weeks, possibly even longer, before this neighborhood returns to normal. Reporting live from Camelot 2 in northeast San Antonio, meteorologist Mike Hernandez, News 4 San Antonio.
All right, thanks, Mike. I can second that. We didn't really care on my street, and we got hit. Whether it was a tornado, this or that, we heard a whoosh, we heard rumbling, we heard pops, and we had damage. That's the only thing that really mattered, and that nobody was injured. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
All stolen while their owners were just steps away. The popular place this is happening and the simple steps you must take to protect your valuables. Tuesday at 10 on News 4 San Antonio. 4 Zone weather on News 4 San Antonio.
Stay with us here on News 4 San Antonio. We will have continuing coverage throughout the evening, not just on the damage left here in San Antonio by these 4 tornadoes, but there was damage as well across the state. Good news is nobody hurt, nobody injured, and people are really getting after it. We will have much more at 6. We'll see you then.